Collin Murray-Boyles has officially declared for the 2025 NBA Draft. This is Floor and Ceiling. Let's break him down. South Carolina forward Collin Murray-Boyles is the number 8 prospect on my current big board. I just uploaded that, so make sure to check that out. But my pitch on CMB is centered around his functional athleticism, connectivity, flashes of on-ball upside, and 2 years of proven production while still remaining pretty young. To give you an idea, Murray-Boyles is almost 6 months younger than Derek Queen, and he's only about half a year older than BJ Edgecombe or Con Knipple. The pessimistic view on CMB might be that he's an undersized big who can't shoot. He's listed at 6'8", and he's only made 9 threes in 2 seasons at South Carolina. However, Murray-Boyles is also a very efficient play finisher who stuffed the stat sheet on high usage, can play both sides of the pick and roll on both ends, and provides plenty of NBA athleticism and tools. I'm betting on his intersection of skill, feel, and two-way production to overcome the valid questions that exist about his style of play. It's crucial to think about the pick and roll when evaluating Murray-Boyles. That's where I think that he'll spend most of his time and be at his best, especially early on in the NBA. As I said, I think CMB can act on both sides of the screen, but I do believe that the 19-year-old will largely be finishing plays. This year, Murray-Boyles scored 67% of his 251 shots at the rim. As a sophomore, CMB averaged about 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 2 stocks per game. The South Carolina prospect is an easy fit out of handoffs or pitch-offs, be that getting touches above the break or working with an empty side setup. Murray-Boyles has good hands to secure passes when he rolls, and then he's able to play with and through contact. CMB shoots about 6 free throws per game. Sure, he's not very big, so that is a question when it comes to his NBA outlook, but the Gamecocks forward is long, crafty, and fluid. Murray-Boyles uses up fakes very often. It's hard to not pick up on it actually once you notice, but he does this to pretty good effect. He lets defenders fly by, or he'll draw fouls to get to the charity stripe. I'll also take the chance here to touch on how Murray-Boyles rebounds. He averaged about 8 boards per game, with a little more than 2 coming on the offensive glass. All of this goes back to how CMB is a functional athlete who uses his length, pop, and hand-to-eye coordination effectively. The South Carolina prospect is proactive about winning early position, and he uses his low center of gravity to good effect. That helps on his box outs, but also in general when it comes to getting low and then popping back up to rebound or finish. At the 4, I have no doubt that Murray-Boyles is a strong positional rebounder, but I'm not so sure at the 5. Looking to the NBA and CMB's future, I think there's more to be unlocked as a play finisher overall when he has better table setters on his team, as well as less individual responsibilities. That said, I don't want to downplay that a big part of the pitch on Murray-Boyles is his feel. So that means how he facilitates for others and generally makes quick, efficient decisions. Murray-Boyles was South Carolina's go-to guy, but at the NBA level, he projects as much more of a connective piece, and that is why I love his short roll passing. I know that CMB averaged 2.4 assists and turnovers, but trust me, the tape tells a different story. If I'm being totally honest, Murray-Boyles just didn't have a great supporting cast around him at South Carolina. His teammates left many assists on the table, and he was also forced into tough spots, leading to turnovers. Thinking about Murray-Boyles and how he projects to the league, it's only logical that he can be used as some sort of fulcrum or hub in the half court. Those handoffs and pitch-offs that he uses to get into finishes can also be used to roll, scan the floor, and facilitate. CMB can also just create space out of the handoff for the shot taker by using his body and screening technique. Alternatively, Murray-Boyles can also spray out passes from above the break or either elbow. Plus, this speaks more to his overall decision-making and his reading of the floor, but the 19-year-old is also a very capable passer out of the post. I'll get more into this a bit later, but Murray-Boyles has played with his back to the basket quite a bit so far. I think that this will decrease, but I'm more so focusing on how CMB reads doubles and defenses as a whole. The South Carolina sophomore processes what's happening fairly quickly, and he's pretty decent at finding the open man, be that a cutter, his front court partner, or more of a spot-up shooter. One thing is for sure though, and that's that Murray-Boyles has ball skills. In addition to passing and finishing, he can also put the rock on the floor within 1 to 3 dribbles to attack the basket. In particular, I like when Murray-Boyles fakes the handoff since he has that gravity and kind of history, if that makes sense, but instead uses a push dribble to get to the rim. CMB displays pretty solid body control, and even though his handle isn't overly dynamic, I think it's tight and under control while having enough shake. Again, we see here that he's good at utilizing up fakes to manufacture space for himself. In the future, I'd like to see Murray-Boyles get more inverted pick and roll looks. He can be a mismatch against weaker, less athletic defenders, but also against stiffer, slower ones. Calling him a dribble, pass, score prospect would be accurate in my opinion, but there are still tangible questions about how those skills will scale over. You have to hope that Murray-Boyles can also become more of a threat out of face-ups or really just in space more broadly. I do like his work putting the ball on the floor, but I think that he doesn't have any gravity as a jump shooter right now. Ultimately, Murray-Boyles is 6'8", and he might have to play the 4. I don't think that's how you should think about him, but it's very possible that a team or a coach might. If that's the case, and also just thinking about where basketball is and is headed nowadays, he'll probably need to shoot the 3 at a higher clip in terms of volume and makes. For me, how CMB fares out of spot-ups, and I mean both shooting and putting the ball on the floor, is his swing skill. Murray-Boyles made 9 of his 34 threes this season, and those are the only triples that he's cashed in over his 2 seasons in college. As you can tell, he barely takes threes at about 2 per 100 possessions, and more than that, CMB can be hesitant about letting the ball fly. I think that Murray-Boyles has touch and his mechanics seem okay, but clearly the outside shot is not a part of his game. I don't think that his free throw shooting offers that much clarity either. He made around 71% of his foul shots this season, but as a freshman, that was a lower 67%. Really, neither figure is that encouraging. So for the most part, I think that you'll want Murray-Boyles to simply knock down spot-up shots, especially pick and pop or trailer threes, but he barely takes those right now, and when he does, they can look rushed or apprehensive. If Murray-Boyles takes and makes threes, then he should be able to attack closeouts, and again, how he does out of spot-ups is his swing skill for me. We saw a lot of this earlier with how CMB uses his handle and his body to put the ball on the floor and come up with tough finishes at the rim, so I believe that this will be translatable, and again, it just goes back to those same concepts that I outlined earlier. A lot of my outlook on CMB hinges on him remaining an efficient play finisher more so than him becoming a three-point shooter, so I'm curious to see how his process at the rim will look like at the NBA level. Murray-Boyles is a great positional athlete, but ultimately he's still small for a big. Right now, I feel like he can still struggle against real length, and that doesn't always mean from fives. Guys like Asa Newell can still bother Murray-Boyles, who I feel can rush his finishes a little when he's not using up fakes. The South Carolina forward has a slight tendency to lean in sometimes, which can either kind of make it easier for defenders to get into his body, or it allows for the help to arrive while CMB takes the bump from the initial defender. I also think that Murray-Boyles will need to keep getting stronger. He can still get erased sometimes from his desired spots or get knocked away from the paint, but I'm not really that worried about this. A very important last note is how I think that Murray-Boyles will have to adjust his style of play going forward and post up way less. To give you an idea, he had 104 possessions posting up this season versus 33 rolling to the basket. Murray-Boyles is definitely effective on post-ups, and South Carolina needed that from him, no doubt about that. CMB could get a bucket in the post by taking his time, or he could play with his back to the basket, make a quick move into the paint, turn baseline as well, and score. He has soft touch and reliable physicality. However, these post-ups do go down in the NBA. This isn't just for CMB, but really for a lot of college bigs, and in turn, they'll have to do more cutting, rolling, transition play, and also spot-ups. I feel very confident about the first three areas where I think that Murray-Boyles will remain very efficient because his overall role will be scaled down. But like I've been saying, he will need to make and really just take more threes. Collin Murray-Boyles is a great defender, which in turn also makes him a very good two-way prospect. Having a high floor and ceiling on both ends goes a long way towards explaining why he's number 8 on my current board. To start with, he's very productive. Murray-Boyles had 90 stocks in 32 games, averaging 1.3 blocks and 1.5 steals per game. All the while, this came with these stock rates, which you can see below, that are very impressive. They prove that CMB protects the rim and also slides with ball handlers. Even then though, he generally can make the play without necessarily getting the stat. I love how CMB can guard an initial ball screen and then create an event when he's in help. He's an alert and disciplined off-ball defender who comes up with timely rejections and contests on rolls and on drives. Murray-Boyles can also get steals with how he reads the floor and can then tap into his first step and twitch. He's comfortable switching as well and in space. Just watch this possession and how he switches 3 times before getting the steal. Or here, Murray-Boyles starts by switching onto fellow lottery pick Jeremiah Fears. Then he's back on his big, and finally he gets the steal on the entry pass. Murray-Boyles is almost certainly a big on offense, but he can slide across positions on defense given his foot speed, flexibility, and capacity to make multiple efforts. Murray-Boyles can really defend ball handlers at a level that I'm very comfortable with. In the NBA, this might mean more wings than guards, but Murray-Boyles has awesome range laterally with his long arms and strides. Of course, he can also be used as a big on D like I've said, so I'll wrap up by focusing on the pick and roll and on the post. With the former, my takeaway is how adeptly Murray-Boyles covers ground when he's asked to hedge hard or generally to guard ball screens higher up the floor. He opens up his hips quickly, removes angles smartly, and he has great recovery tools as well. NBA teams won't hedge like they do in college, but some teams, like the Brooklyn Nets for instance, can be pretty aggressive with their schemes. Then, in the post, where CMB does a lot of his damage offensively, he lacks height on defense as far as his NBA outlook is concerned. However, he does have solid strength, which should only improve, pretty decent toughness, and then great length. Overall, Collin Murray-Boyles looks like an excellent two-way prospect. He can create events and connect them on both ends of the floor. Then, he's also a highly functional athlete who I think can overcome the few physical questions that exist about him. The most important thing that I'll be looking for to see is what Murray-Boyles can do out of spot-ups. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment telling me what you make of CMB. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the Floor and Ceiling Substack, and if you want to watch more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Take care, and I'll catch you guys next time.